I completely tattled on Rush Limbaugh. I went to, because I know the lawyer for the band Rush.
Right.
And so I contacted him. I said, Rush Limbaugh is calling Sandra Fluke a slut while he's talking over a Rush song. Oh. And they were livid. So they sent a cease and desist order. I got the exclusive for Huffington Post and everything. Yeah. And so Rush Limbaugh from that point forward was legally unable to play Rush music on his show. So that's my little contribution to the EIB network.
that was before the Resistance was cool.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I was doing my part against Rush Limbaugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, we got you for an hour. Holy cow. What are we going to do with you?
I don't know. I have no idea. This is going to be great, though. I was so happy when I got the message from Travis. You want to sit in for an hour? And I said, yeah, well, of course.
Sure.
We're going to recap the entire Justice League Snyder Cut.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I had a funny. I got to tell you
the show.
Yeah, I have to tell you this story right at the top here. I posted about it on Instagram like 36 times or something over the weekend. And on one of the posts, Sue in Rockville chimed in, and I want to make sure I read this correctly. Sue in Rockville commented on my Zack Snyder's Justice League post, and she said, "Can I have a tutorial on WTF I just spent 4 hours of my life watching?" And then I said, "Did you know that it's a sequel to Man of Steel and Batman v Superman? You just watched the third movie in a trilogy." And she said, "Well, that explains some of it." She said, "I'm not sure I have the bandwidth to watch them." So she jumped in the third movie on a trilogy and is like, what the heck did I just watch here? It's like jumping in on Back to the Future 3 without seeing Back to the Future 1 and 2.
But
correct.
At least Back to the Futures 1, 2, and 3 were numbered in succession.
Yes.
These three movies, by looking at the titles, you don't know that they're parts 1, 2, and 3 of a trilogy.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I love Sue in Rockville. I love that she's participating in this conversation and everything like that. But I wish she had known it was third in a trilogy. She's missing out on so much. She's missing out on like 12 hours worth of content and the storytelling of these characters.
Wow.
I have a friend who does, they do a podcast and they talk about all sorts of geeky stuff like this. And he, to prepare for the Snyder Cut, he went back and watched Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and he watched the theatrical version of Justice League again, just to prepare for this, so he will be able to spot and know the differences. Because I haven't seen the full theatrical Justice League since I saw it in the movie theaters. I tried to watch bits and pieces of it when it's like been on TV, and it looks like a cartoon.
It's horrible. It is horrible. It makes no secret about it. I love Zack Snyder's movies, and especially his DC movies. And but that theatrical cut was, not only from a content point of view, but also from the behind the scenes point of view, such a disaster. Never have seen the light of day. If I had been involved in that theatrical cut, I would have taken my name off of it. I mean, what they did to Henry Cavill alone with the mouth replacement, making him look like some sort of awful mutant monster. I mean, he's one of the most handsome, I don't need to tell you guys, one of the most handsome guys in movies.
Yes.
And they turned him into this chimera of weird, amorphous, like his face is all distorted.
Because
he
had a mustache
for Carpenter horror movie character.
He had a mustache for another movie that he was filming, and they brought him in for reshoots and whatever, and he couldn't shave off the mustache, and so they just CG'd it out. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It was for Mission Impossible. He had the mustache for Mission Impossible, and Paramount said, no, you can't shave that mustache. That will delay our production. We're loaning you out, but we need you to come back looking the way you're supposed to look.
Well, thank God all of that's gone for the Snyder Cut. And that's one of the main things that I was hoping for with the Snyder Cut. And I knew it wasn't going to be in there, but, I'd love to have the continuity of these movies without having to look at that awfulness that should never have made it to a theater. It was just bad.
But a 4-hour movie, you can't release a 4-hour movie into the theaters anymore. You just can't.
No. Well, that's why this movie could only exist with the streaming environment. Right.
Yeah.
And also, to a certain extent, it could only really exist with the fact that we were all isolated with COVID. I think that was part of the decision making. We need to get some content out there. We need to make some. Let's get this thing that Zack Snyder was unable to finish.
Right.
Let him finish it, which is not only a triumph for the storytelling, but also a triumph for creative integrity.
Right.
I think it was a huge success story for the creators allowing to finish their vision, and I think that was supportable.
And it costs Warner's very little in marketing, so it's basically pure profit.
And I love we haven't talked about politics at all.
Not at all.
Stephanie's not here. It's blah, blah, blah.
It's kind of like
nerd.
Yeah, it's kind of like on Monday when we spent an entire half hour talking about escape rooms with Hal.
Yeah, see, now I feel a lot better because I've done a couple of escape rooms, and as far as the nerd spectrum goes, Hal wins. Hal has defeated me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I must step down with my title of King of All Nerds and hand that crown over to Hal Sparks.
Yeah. I think Hal would be okay with that. He would.
Yeah.
But you can take these Zack Snyder movies and talk about them in terms of politics. So I mean, like the first Superman was about an outsider coming into our society. He was an illegal alien. He was an immigrant.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about immigration. What do you think about what? It seems to me at the border.
Wow.
Nice segue.
Yeah,
Travis. That was great.
Well, I'm smooth, aren't I? Let's back on track.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll fall off the cliff into
that's good though. I admire that. That was a good segue.
We'll fall off the cliff back into Superman. Don't worry. I'm wearing a Superman shirt for crying out loud. And this was an intentional choice for you today, Bob.
We'll come back to you, Superman.
No, but I mean, talking about right now, Biden and Harris are out trying to promote the American Recovery Plan right now, and it seems like every stop he gets on, the Republicans are trying to push all these other stories to keep him from talking about how great the American Recovery Plan is. And the big one they're harping on right now is the border, which there was a huge article, I don't know if you saw it last night in the Washington Post, where they went in and they broke down, they go, this is not a surge. This is a seasonal thing. This is what happens every year. There were more people last year. And all of a sudden, Republicans care about this issue.
Yeah, it's only a surge because Fox News is saying it's a surge.
That's
correct.
Exactly right. Yeah. Well, that's what they need. They need this wedge issue because they've got nothing else to stick to Joe Biden.
Right.
I mean, we're in another Barack Obama situation again, where they had nothing. There were no scandals. There were no personal scandals. There was nothing really that you could stick to Barack Obama that would fuel just constant 24 hours rage television, rage radio.
Bob, three stories: tan suit, Grey Poupon, and arugula.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. That's how. And I'm glad you remember the arugula one too, because that gets lost. Gherkins. You forget gherkins. Don't forget gherkins. That was the thing too.
Gherkins.
He put gherkins in his egg salad or something like that, and Michelle Malkin had a heart attack. Gherkins. How dare he put gherkin? It's just ridiculous. So they're doing the same thing with Joe Biden by throwing in all these wedge issues. Today it's immigration. Last week it was Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head. So this is all the stuff that they keep their frothy, angry white male audience stoked and fluffed with on a constant basis. So as long as their audience, as long as the Fox News audience, the audience of the Red Hat Entertainment Complex, is being fed all of this wedge issue nonsense, it's going to keep them angry. It's going to keep them in the Trump camp. It's going to keep them ready to roll when it comes to midterms and the general in a couple of years. So that's all they need. And the thing is, it just, they're so locked in their own bubble. I think of stories like the Sidney Powell story from the other day, where she's finally admitting that all the election stuff was nonsense. How could any reasonable person believe what I said for months and months and months? And
I would say because she said it in court.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I would say, and I would say something that happened on January 6th means that some people believed what she said too.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with the Sidney Powell thing. It's just another example of that news not making it into the Fox News bubble. It's not making it into the Red Hat Entertainment Complex bubble. So they don't ever get confused, because if they heard that information, I'm talking about the Red Hat audience, the people who are devoted to Donald Trump, those disciples. If they actually heard that news, the steam would start shooting out of their ears like Uncle Fester, and their head would explode. Their heads would explode.
Because that means they would. That means they would have to engage in critical thinking. And they're not capable of that. They only want to be spoon-fed what they believe is true.
Well, I mean, imagine having that information, Chris. Imagine being one of the insurrectionists, and you're one of the 400, 500 guys who are being rounded up right now.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're walking by the TV monitor at the station, being led to your holding cell. And on the TV, there's CNN going, "Oh yeah, Sidney Powell said it's all BS."
Yeah.
And then you go, "Oh, you know,
I could have saved myself the trouble."
Yeah. So if they do hear it, here's the rationale. If they do end up hearing it, they're not going to react by saying, "Oh, we were double crossed," nothing like that.
Right.
They're going to say, "Oh, well, Sidney Powell's saying what she has to say to wiggle out of the lawsuit. She's lying to get out of the lawsuit."
Yeah.
That's the justification. These people are so badly deluded.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got nothing on it. Like Christopher Guest characters being so deluded in those movies.
Yeah.
They've got nothing on the Red Hat Entertainment Complex. Nothing on these Trump supporters, Trump fanboys.
That was even one of their theories last week was when he called into, I believe it was Maria Bartiromo's show in the evening. That was the one where he finally said, yes, people should go out and get the vaccine. Unless you don't want to get the vaccine, you don't have to get the vaccine because personal freedom and personal responsibility,
right?
Whatever. Mm-hmm. But the next day, there were people, QAnon people were posting that they thought it was a fake Trump, that they had faked. They're like, listen to him.
Yeah.
He sounds different.
They will twist themselves into any kind of pretzel in order to fit their own reality. It's sad.
I hate to speculate out loud while we're on the air, but there's got to be some other factor here when it comes to Q that we're not quite seeing. Because, I mean, in the past, these right-wing movements have always been somewhat grounded in reality, like the Tea Party movement.
Mm-hmm.
The Tea Party movement, they hated Barack Obama. They wanted lower taxes. They were afraid of what was going on with the economy, and they were concerned that it was the second coming of socialism, communism, fascism in the country, or something like that. It was grounded in some sort of, even though it was way over the top and way misdirected and way racist, it was at least grounded in something.
Right.
Yeah.
With you, it's like,
well,
I mean, it makes Scientology look like a college textbook. It's amazingly stupid and outlandish, but yet millions of people are buying into it. There's some X factor here that we're not seeing.
If you see all the interviews that news organizations have done with people who got into Q and have left Q, they say they all started in getting into Q because they wanted to save children from being molested.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to save children from being molested? They see the Save the Children hashtag and they click on that. And, slowly but surely they get deeper and deeper into Q, and there's nothing to contradict what they're getting from it. So it all starts from saving the children, much like Scientology all starts from taking a simple personality test.
Nor modern conservatism starts with saving the children,
right?
Because abortion is like the entryway for a lot of these people, especially religious conservatives. They start with that, and then they say, "Oh, wait a minute, the gays, and the trans people in the bathrooms, and they're coming for our guns," and balloons from there, right?
Right, yeah, and those other things start entering into it little by little, and it's like a death by a thousand cuts. All of a sudden they're into wild conspiracy theories, and they don't even realize it.
And suddenly Tom Hanks is strangling babies so they can squeeze the adrenochrome out of them?
Adrenochrome,
Adrenochrome.
Yeah.
Adrenochrome out of them.
I always think of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like the ugly second half of the movie version, the Terry Gilliam movie version of that, where Hunter S. Thompson is on adrenochrome and he's going bananas, and he wakes up and there's all kinds of crazy things in the bedroom and everything like that.
Uh-huh.
It's complete nonsense as far as this goes, and I there's something that's convincing otherwise reasonable adults into believing this nonsense. And it can't be just, well, they're frustrated by the stream of information that they're getting every day online, or they're unable to digest fact from reality because the media companies are taking advantage of their naivete or something like that. It's beyond that. I mean, I was having a very brief conversation about the possibility of opioids contributing in some way to this level of delusion that we're seeing in this country right now, that goes beyond left, right. It goes beyond fact and reality. This is some other plane of nonsensical gibberish that someone's making it up. It's like Johnny Knoxville is behind the scenes, or Andy Kaufman is behind the scenes. Sacha Baron Cohen is behind the scenes coming up with all of these insane ideas. Yeah,
I believe Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman is still with us, and this is all an Andy Kaufman thing.
That's right.
It's to create a boogeyman because they need somebody to be against, but it's not. It's not. They've gone too far.
There's not even a single target. It's just everybody. It's just the whole cabal. And that's so convenient for them, because if it's everybody in government, then it's an easy shot. It's like, well, just start aiming your anger and rage and suspicions against everybody. And because they're all involved. It's all of Washington. It's all of Hollywood. They're all part of the same conspiracy. And so it's easily digestible. They don't have to think. They don't have to remember names. They can just remember some of the insane things that I frankly, I can't even remember following along, trying to figure out what the hell they're talking about. I'm constantly misnaming the pizza place where apparently
Comet Ping Pong? Is that what it was?
Comet Ping Pong. Yes. It just doesn't make sense to me as a
is that place still open? I hope it is. I hope they didn't get their business ruined by all this bull crap.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm pretty sure it's still open.
Okay.
It'd be a shame if just this ridiculous conspiracy theory got it shut down. I guess a decently run business with,
reason to save it.
A dungeon underneath of it, apparently.
All right.
Oh,
well,
it is 51 minutes after the hour.
And we have Bob Cesca with us until the bottom of next hour. So hooray.
Bob's staying with us, and we're going to talk about meat.
Yes, we are.
Portion, 51 minutes after the